Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode many. You're like, 489. I was like, did I get that all set up before I started? I guess not. Today is Sunday, June 8th, 2025, and I'm glad you could join me today. It is definitely a foggy day, and I'm definitely in the middle of a 36-hour cooking project. It's fine. It's fine. The pieces are pretty tasty right now, so I think it's going to be a win in the end. Um, and whatever. I didn't make 5 pounds of it. So what I'm doing right now is actually finishing a row because I started this row yesterday at the playground and didn't get a chance to finish it for reasons. The knitting had to go down and it did not get picked back up again. So what I'm working on right now is a 22.5 degree scarf of my own design, using a peacock feather chart for single brioche that I've modified for double brioche out of 2 different colors of wool mice blend. So that is the merino cashmere nylon base. So I'm using M. Colton Polar, which is the side you can see right now, and Verhext and Verrucht, which is more magenta and charcoal. Um, has this gotten a lot of work? I don't know. Am I getting closer to being done? Maybe. I still have a decent amount of yarn? I guess so. So maybe not. I may have lots of happy knitting time left on this project. So I know I did do a pattern row when I was at midnight on Monday, so there's at least been that much done. But yeah, this wasn't my carry around project this week, so that could explain quite a bit. I also have to laugh because I did like a quick episode in preparation for Stash Dash, and then noticed when I went to try to find documentation of what I did for a project that I had forgotten to post the video. So there will be 2 videos posted this week. My apologies. It doesn't matter what order you watch them in. The last video was maybe a little bit more atypical for me, and that's fine. Alright, so row is done. We can unfurl. So, like, very long, very skinny, very flowy. This side, you can see some of the flow, but I definitely feel justified in my MC choice. So typically you would want the brighter yarn, or would it be? Yeah, you want the brighter yarn to be the MC in a brioche, and the darker yarn to be a CC. But yeah, because of the variegation of the Colton Polar, that didn't really seem to be the right choice, so it's good. I still have my center stitch marker in place, and so I'm getting pretty close to the point where I've finished another feather motif, and then I'll just have to check and see. I'll have to check and see if this is going to be where I start another feather repeat or not. But Very pretty, very cool. So you just get like the hints of the blue on this side. Um, and there's nothing like doing a bunch of mending projects to um remind oneself that would it be that I do really like Fulmisa and it's very low drama yarn. It's high drama for color, but low drama for fixing. As you do. So project's going along. It hasn't gotten a lot of love this week. I think I made the choice on Monday just to carry around the sweater. So, and then I haven't been doing as much knitting at home, but we'll get in that in a little bit. So, the other thing, and this might be actually why I ended up switching was so I did end up getting sleeves onto my bracket tee. We can show this from the front side. And I'm actually right now sort of in the process of detaching the yarn that I did for the ribbing of the sleeve and putting it back in the body again. And that at this point, pretty much all it's all body until it's done. So I've done the neckline treatment, I've done both sleeves. My sleeves are definitely smaller than the pattern photo. Um, it is what it is. I I don't think would it be. So that does it does change the fit somewhat. And I haven't put it on since I haven't put the sweater on since I started or since I finished the other sleeve. So maybe due for that pretty soon. But I'm looking forward to getting this project done. So I Rocket Tea Tanis Lavalley. I am knitting it out of Hillesvåg Soleil um, in a navy color, and then in 5 different colors of gold number 4, which is a merino Gotland blend in all these lovely natural dyed colors. So it is fabulous. I do have to laugh a little bit because I was sitting at knitting and one of them is like, I don't know how you got self-striping yarn to do that. I'd be like, it's not. And then she's like, oh no, you're individually striping. Like, yes, yes, I am. So it's a fabulous stripe. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's going to be very, very cool. But it's going to be a lot of ends. Can I do a bunch of ends at some point? At some point, I'll get a bunch of ends done, but not right now. Let's not. I am sort of, what is it? I am, whatever, rolling up and getting a decent number of them, so it's okay. But we'll see. Ah, sounds like the children are not going down very well right now. So it's coming along. This is what I had as my carry along project. I think I finished. I think I finished or mostly finished sleeve at midnight, and I think I was in the middle of a blue stripe when I went to go work on the sleeve. So finished the blue stripe, and I'm now part of the way through the rainbow sequence on this one, and we'll just be grinding away. Um, what is it? So because my stitch gauge is good or good enough, but my row gauge is way off. This might end up taking a while to finish. um, in good news, I I have plenty of yarn, like really I only needed 4 colors. Um, or I only needed four of the contrast colors to fill it out. Um, which is fine. So if I end up using way more yarn on this project, it's fine. I don't care. Could it be like I I'll have to decide if I want to base base distances and lengths off of an existing t-shirt I like already, or just go for it, or just go with my normal sweater, knitting lengths. That is like quite a bit longer than the called for one, but it's fine. Got plenty of yarn. Would I like to start other things? Maybe. Considering that this particular project probably jumped a couple in line. Um, so whatever, it's fine. So enjoying this knit. It's fairly mindless. Now that I have another sleeve done, what it be? It's just all body now. So lots of easy knitting. I keep the balls of yarn attached until I need to use it later on. And that's just to make sure I don't have anything weird fall out of my bag. I do feel like stuff is like um, I don't know why, but normally I'm so good about keeping all my tools and stuff contained, but I definitely feel like I'm down a set of needles. I don't think it's going to affect the final thing, but this feels very unlikely to have so many missing tools. It's quite strange. Um, but I really haven't seen it anywhere, so. And then it is a little bit of a chaotic mess right now. So I think part of this is because they're sort of separated, or the colors are somewhat separated from each other right now. It's making a pretty impressive looking tangle, but we'll see. So progress is being made. I don't even have I might try it on tubing, headphones. I have all sorts of weird things in this bag right now. So let's see. It does look like I've gotten a decent amount of distance on this, so. Alright, so I'm like. So if I would want my body to be 18 inches from underarm, I'm like at 9 right now. So I have like 8 to 9 inches to go still. But it is pretty easy knitting, so that's good. All of the thinking has been removed from this project for the most part. I just have to keep on whatever, keep on going. And then what's actually been nice is because of the lace pattern, it makes it a little bit easier to count. Because you can just like count how many holes you have and be like, ah, yes, it's time to change colors. So that's the story there. It will be me. A good project overall. Maybe next time I can try it on. But I don't know. We're definitely quite a bit further, but still quite a bit to go. And then maybe we'll see what happens in terms of how much finishing I want to do. Get all the ends taken care of. So it looks like I have woven in none of these. So no, this one isn't too crazy. So that's fine. So those are the active whips. The episode you may or may not have seen, oopsies, was focused on all of the items that I wanted. What is it? It was focused on all of the items that I wanted to mend. And like it is the case where I have managed to get through a decent number of things in the past few days. Oh, interesting. So that's been good. But I'm now realizing that what is left to do is definitely on like the more complicated side of things. So for example, the and like this is just like a general, I would call this like fairly general, is yeah, that's probably not a good idea to go from that direction. we'll unravel from this side and call it good. So I'd had a decent number of repairs queued up, and so that was my last episode, was going through all of the items that needed to be fixed. So it would be, and then like it ended up getting a little chaotic at the end, but so as like part of preparation for Stash Dash, I just wanted to know like what my current count was. Um, or how many things had sort of piled up over time, and what it could do, and all of that fun stuff. And like what needed mending, what could be mended, get all my yarn ready so that I'd be good to go for the start. Like it was just like preparing basically. So and it was like a nice to be able to check through everything and make sure I had a good plan. Sorry, I'm like trying to find where I wove in an end. We're getting pretty close now. Or maybe I will be filled with regret soon. Um, Maybe I just, or I'll need to change my game plan. So, so I wanted to make, so because, the start of Stash Dash was actually the week after Memorial Day, and I ended up traveling that weekend, to attend a wedding. So I just wanted to make sure when I had a little bit of time that I could get everything all staged and ready to go. Because I had been, um, whatever, as is typical, sort of saving up items for that. Um, and then what would be as usual, I guess. At least for me, there was definitely like different levels of complexity for the projects that I was trying to do. So, um, I may have inadvertently cleared my list of easy fixes and have only left myself sort of the more complicated ones to go. But we'll see. It's also, I'm also actually sort of impressed with how well I've hidden the end of this one. Is the thing, I definitely left a long enough tail. So, definitely left a long enough tail and wove it in adequately. Now, is this the one that I'm even looking for? That's a whole different question. So, um, but I definitely had some, or what was it? There were definitely a few times where I'd went to pull something out, being like, "Uh-oh, I need to mend this," um, and then putting it aside. So what I was doing 2 weeks ago was just making sure that everything was all organized and easy and that sort of thing, basically. Um, so that when it came to whatever, like this weekend, when I was home and could do stuff, that all I had to do was like sit down and look at my pile of stuff on the guest bed and decide what needed doing and go do it. Um, and that mostly worked. There were definitely a couple things where it's just like, oh, what am I doing here? But I think I got at least reasonable solutions for most stuff. Um, as you do. But I'm sort of impressed with how well hidden my end ended up being. Like, where did it go? Oh well. So, sorry. This is apparently entirely too distracting. But one of the things that I ended up picking up was my Pimentone. and I definitely spent some time today trying to figure out what what exactly what exactly I did with this project. Um, so interestingly, while I do have all whatever, so I have like at least 4 podcast episodes where I talk about it. I have a Ravelry project page, but in none of those things was a needle size indicated. So would it be? And basically what happened with it was like the cast off edge broke. Um, so not too crazy. Like I have plenty of yarn, not too bad. Um, but getting to the point where I can when I'm actually whatever. So getting to the point where I can redo the cast off again using good yarn, making sure everything's okay, making sure it's not the case where it's going to be constantly doing that again as you do. But actually what I'm contemplating is taking, effectively speaking, all the edge of that sleeve is it's like a couple of rows of garter and a bind off. So I'm contemplating if I actually want to do like a gusset decrease and just do more rounds of garter. But gusset would mean ripping back whatever the 8 to 10 rows that are already there. Um, and while I'm working away at the spot where it broke, that may not be as efficient, but I can't even find I can't find the end. um, but like the whatever, like this is my last linen project. I'm never knitting 100% linen project again. It has reached linen nirvana. Like it's that buttery soft feeling. Um, knitting with linen destroys me. Um, I need to pass through as quickly as I can. um, like I've definitely knit with almost all of the purple. Like I probably have enough purple to do some repairs. I probably have plenty of the blue. Um, but effectively, I probably just want to close it up, a little bit. And it may be the case where I end up doing like a little, like, so it had like a garter panel detail. So I might just knit the yellow longer. Tighten up the undersleeve area because it was pretty wide for me. And call that a wrap. But it's gonna take a little bit more work because it's, or would it be? It's like a knitting needle, or it's more of a knitting mending project than it is a fixing project, basically. And then it would be the case where I've gotten a lot of fixing projects done already. I realized I was sort of prepping for this episode. I do have a couple more. Um, so one thing was, so this is my citron that I modified into a crescent shape. Um, and it was the case where I pulled it out to wear it, and I did notice that there was a break or hole in it. And as I was sort of fixing it, it did, like, was definitely the case where um I was like, ah, yeah, no, I got a bit of food on it, and so that made it delicious because it was sort of crunchy repairing it. Where did the repair go? I didn't do that good a job. I definitely didn't do that good a job. Now I feel like I'm going crazy. I definitely fixed it at midnight. Oh, here we go. So I took my Kiviat yarn and just did like a little weaving in the ends sort of repair. Um, and this guy will need to be washed before I put it away, but yeah, it's just a little bit crunchy here, so I must have done something rude, but like it's pretty subtle. So just a little wash away from being done with that one. So because this was a cobweb project, it's really huge yardage, and it's a hand-woven shawl, so definitely didn't want to lose that. This one needed two repairs, so there was one spot that broke, which was why I pulled it out, and then I found another spot as well. So I fixed this spot here, which you can see, like, I didn't get this yarn wasn't color match for sure. And then just a little spot here where my finger is as well. So this will also get washed. And I probably need to hurry up and wash it because we will be having company again soon. So that's my Daybreak by Stephen West, knit out of a crazy lace Albert ball and Malabrigo. And I had used up all of the yarn in that for stress hats from 2019. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do to like long-term fix, but I've definitely gotten like a couple of snags on my backpack. Um, so I did have like a big snag in the edge of this. And so this was a seamed on, panel, and I was actually able to just zhuzh the yarn. Um, so I have like a little bit of a long tail here, but I think it's going to hold up reasonably well. So I was able to just sort of zhuzh this one out, so it didn't actually take very much, it didn't even take any knitting at all, it just took like working it with a needle and making that all good. So I'll be able to wear this again, which is good because it's a linen garment and I'm not making any more of them. So, um, whatever. So this one's probably gonna be a two-parter, but there were probably like there were three holes in this, so two in the sole, um, and then one on the foot, and maybe actually, yeah, there were a few sort of in the bottom of this guy. So I didn't have any more of this yarn. I think I had used it in Scrappy Socks, so so I ended up just using sort of a close-ish color match, and we'll see how everything ends up wearing. And actually, I'm not yet done with this because I just found one more to fix. Alas. So this one, or would it be? This one was just sort of aggravating because, like, I would think that everything was all done and then be like, oh wait. So we're not even done with this one yet. So I'll have to keep going. And it's mate. And I've already needed to do repair on it, so I ended up doing the cast off in a different color. Or I ended up redoing the cast off in a different color because it had broken. And it looks like I have some issues here. This looks not But it is a very hard question where you're just like, okay, how many repairs am I willing to do? I don't even know that I have any more of this yarn that I did the cast off in. But I was like, what? It's like what happened here? Why can I see no ends? So this one was definitely raising my blood pressure. And apparently it's gonna go back on the table because it's not done. So one thing it would be, and then I have ended up having two holes in this baby hat that were pretty easy to fix, and its next stop is washing as well. So I don't know that I've ever even washed this hat, so it'll be good to get that taken care of. And even though it is summer, it's still baby hat season, so it's fine. I feel like I've done like a ton of repairs on this pair of socks. And this was actually a situation where the previous repair ended up letting go. But I did manage to get everything shored up again. I don't know if I'll end up. So what I ended up doing with some of these other ones was after I had finished reinforcing the whole area, I actually went through and needle felted. And maybe that's what I should have done or should do on this one as well. I think there was only one spot that needed repair on this one. That was like a pretty large hole. Maybe looking, it might have been two. Maybe there was, yeah. There's like one spot up here and then another spot in the heel. So I might end up needle felting it. Just because I know like a repair ended up letting go before, and I don't think I was super good about removing all of the bad parts of the yarn. So we'll see what I decide. But that that was like a pretty easy beginning. But let's talk a little bit about the needle felting. Um, so um, these are scrap socks that I use like every last little bit of yarn on. Um, and what I ended up deciding to do was, so I went through, I wove in ends, and then I actually went through and just did a little bit of needle felting over the spot. So what I ended up learning on doing this one was that you should punch from the pretty side, because that's sort of how it's gonna end up looking. And were there two spots on this or just one? I think just one. Yeah. So I went through, I sort of shored everything up with the yarn, and then I just ended up needle felting the whole area because it didn't seem like I had quite enough good yarn in the spot. Um and I think the other thing was like for some reason like this blue yarn just hasn't held up super great as socks. And the person who dyed it is no longer dyeing, so whatever, whatever. The rainbow yarn seems to be pretty good, but the blue one is a little bit sketchy. So, but that seems like a pretty good way in order to prevent like further damage in a spot. Um, just keeping that reinforced, basically. Um, and with this one, I ended up, so I did have the original yarn for these socks. I ended up needing to make two repairs. One of them was in the toe. Um, and like, since it was already like fairly felted anyways, like it didn't seem like it was too bad a thing to go in. So you can see sort of the brighter blue area. Um, and there just seemed to be like quite a bit of yuck in there. So the brighter blue will only be temporary. Um, and I think I just did the regular repair for here, but it's black yarn and you can barely see anything. I don't think I ended up needle felting that part. I think I just left it. Yeah, I just ended up leaving it. So, not too crazy there. Um, and then I think there was one spot on this sock that I ended up finding as I was sort of finishing up. But yeah, these were merino cashmere nylon ones, but it this base ended up holding up great to that. So now that these guys are repaired, then I can wash them too. We'll just keep working our way through. Um, and then this is the first one that I tried, like the little needle felting fix on. It was like a little bit tricky because there wasn't really any way to backstop. But I figure since it's just a little sock, it's fine. It's like, and maybe a testament to, yeah. So it was just like a little spot where it was just like, okay, yeah, we can just shore this up. So I ended up taking a bit of tail on this one to repair this one. And like it just makes it so that you're just making the most of what yarn you have available, basically. So seems like it's pretty tough, and I don't think it's gonna open back up again, which is my hope. So the other thing was like I decided to reblock the shawl, and then in the process of reblocking found two spots on it with like a cut thread, for lack of a better word. I think the short answer is, after looking at all of the projects made from this yarn, the shawl is definitely the one that held up the best. Um, and what I ended up doing was I sort of reconstructed what was going on in this area, and then I just did like a little felt here. So it doesn't look great, but I think it'll just hold together. And it really did end up felting pretty easily with the pen tool. And then there's one more spot in the edging somewhere. Maybe it wasn't the edging. It definitely took a little bit of searching to. But I think mostly it's just to get everything to hold together. So there was one other spot that needed a little bit of love, and um, I think as long as I sort of hold to um, as if I hold to just making sure if I'm poking it, I'm poking it from the right side. I think it's close enough. Because I didn't have anything even close to fix this, and definitely didn't feel like trying to navigate doing that through a very complicated lace pattern. And definitely the situation where I could see like one end but not the other one, so just sort of felting the whole vicinity and making it work seemed to be my best bet. And I do wish I had knit this shawl longer because I did have to what is it? I did have to buy 2 skeins of it, so it could have been a bigger thing. Oh well. Definitely one where pinning it probably makes sense. So that's everything that I've fixed so far, and all of it was stuff where I could do it by darning needle. And then what's going to end up or whatever, what I have sort of remaining in projects are things that need to be on the knitted needle, except for I guess I have 2 more darning needle projects to go, so I might do those tonight and then call it good. But I have my bag of pretty or whatever. I have my bag of socks, which may or may not be a total loss at this point. Which is super sad. But I did manage to work my way through at least some of that. Um, but yeah, so I have like one more pair of socks that should be pretty easy. I have both pairs of fingerless gloves. I have another hat ending project to do. I have to fix the armpit of my other linen sweater because all 3 linen sweaters were in the mending pile, which is so sad. And then the bag of socks, I'm not sure. I did pull out all of my Woolmice stash, but it might be that it might be too far. We'll see how much I can get through. That's where a lot of my crafting time went this week, was just like, can we do it? Can we fix it? um, so we'll see how things turn out. But so what I do still need to get started is putting together like my stash spreadsheet, and so then I can count all the projects that I have done so far. And we'll see how far I end up getting. Because of that, I ended up not doing a lot of spinning. And if it would be very wonderful if I was able to finish this project this year. It would be very exciting to be able to do that. Uh, but I guess I'm also cognizant of the fact that like my mending pile got pretty big. So we'll see what else I can get fixed. Because based on like how quickly I've been knitting lately, like to replace all those things would be a significant investment of time, and it's a much smaller investment to mend instead of start anew. But it can sometimes be annoying to do. So with that, or would it be? So, in terms of recording schedule, we will see what ends up getting decided. It's quite possible that would it be? We'll have to see how things break down because whatever, in 2 weeks' time, um, I'll be out in the world for several weeks, and so we'll see what I end up deciding to do. Never, I don't feel like I've ever been on such a long trip before, and I don't know that I'm ready for it. Um, but would it be? Um, I know. I'm looking forward to it, but would- it's definitely an interesting packing challenge for sure. Even though like everything is like hot weather stuff, it was like, all right, how many baby things do I need? How many like how much summer clothes do I need? How often do I want to be doing laundry? um, so and stuff like that. What what I know the baby care I think is the one that's taking a lot of brain space. Um, so yeah, it was, and I would say the other would it be so what was also challenging was we ended up losing a bag in the airport. Um, so like never returned to lost and found, too many valuable items in it. um, need to whatever. Some of the things have been replaced, but not everything yet. Um, but yeah, that was a little bit heartbreaking because um, would it be like my spouse and I both had changes of clothes, wireless headphones, like the toothbrush. So would it be so then it'd be the case you're like, all right, how is this all gonna work when I end up doing a solo trip with the kiddos and how are all these bags gonna get moved and how in the world is it even workable and yeah. So that's the challenge. Um it's like, do I need to buy a gadget? um so we'll see. And would it be so it would be the case where I think my game plan would be, or I just have to decide whether or not I want to um, record while I'm gone, because that would be a pretty long hiatus if I don't. But then it's also weird because I'm staying at my mom's house. So we will see when I decide. Or what would it be, or if it ends up being randomly recording once. We'll get it figured out. But hello again from the future. I I had a computer memory meltdown. It took a long time to get the computer to the point where it was okay. I think all of my work files had accidentally been archived on it, and so I think we'll stop having problems for a long time now. um, but I was actually just getting really close to saying goodbye. So, uh, I did I did manage to find the end of the yarn. Uh, the tacos al pastor were very delicious and a lot of work, but very delicious. Roasted pineapple, very wonderful. Um, Way too spicy for my spouse, but that's okay because I made him gringo tacos, so it's fine. um, to be. I am wondering whether or not I actually did want to like record when I was at SSK when I could have my own space, but I don't want to take my work computer to that. So we will just have to see how things work out. Um, yeah, it's I'll look unclear. We'll find out eventually. Um, so yeah, life's exciting, but at least I have more of a sleeve. Maybe it turns out I've taken out way too much of the sleeve because the circular is so small. I mean, whatever. um, so with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So take care guys. Bye bye.